Hey guys, Stickle here. Today we're going to look at how to win more fights in battleships. I got Sims on the screen here. Modified that build the other day as I'm doing my damage per minute charts for various ships. I thought I'd put this build on there. Used to have Sheer, but Sheer is lower level, level 9. Kedrov on the other hand, level 16, so more profitable there. Here we had a game on Big Race. Now I'm in the Arkansas FE. This is one of the, they had a package of ships that were available right at the start of the game when it was launched. So anytime you see a ship that has FE by the name, the player's been playing, or they've at least owned the game for a year and a half. But they've likely been playing for quite a bit, so they probably know what they're doing. Arkansas in general, very dangerous ship. We're actually going to have a division of Arkansas on the other team there. I noted that right off the bat when I checked the rosters, and I'm kind of keeping an eye out for them. My goal, I consider the Arkansas kind of a pirate class, seal clubber type ship. It's a good ship to take out if you want to take your aggression out on people that can't defend themselves and solve your life's problems that way. A lot of fun to play, as we'll see here. You'll see why. I mean, it's got artillery plotting room, the mod, which dramatically increases or decreases the dispersion. Normally only available on Tier 7 American battleships, but this one has it as well. And I think the Nassau, if I recall. Anyway, Danae pops up the screen here. This is my favorite ship to shoot at in the game. Why, you ask? Well, let's go ahead and demonstrate. Now, if you're into Danae, you got to understand you can get siddled by HE. So you have no armor in that thing. Higgone is going to be the result quite often. It's unfortunate. It's a low-tier ship. A lot of the low-tier ships don't really have any armor, though, so cruisers are tough to play against players that know how to aim at those tiers. Anyway, initially we were playing this flank over here. That's because we spawned over here. We're kind of primarily responsible for this. But we have the Kaiser in front of us. We got the Wyoming over there. I'm going to take a shot or two at this guy to begin whittling him down. I do want to help this flank, but we're keeping an eye on the map. Where are those Arkansas? Now, see Red's positioning. This is a very small map, so it's very easy to be aggressive in this one, but that Arkansas, he's got two Arkansas over there, I believe, and then there's another battleship mixed in, plus a cruiser, presumably at least one destroyer, so Red is pushing up that flank very rapidly and aggressively, so we actually take the time to turn our guns. We're still angled towards the Wyoming, who we were fighting with. We got his attention by shooting at him, so he's paying attention to us for now. We want to continue to angle at us, or at him. But those Arkansas, if they push all the way forward, if they kill that flank and they're in that corner, they have cross shots on our team for the rest of the game. So we got to stop them from doing that. We're going to shoot that Gus if we get some shots at them. Get rid of the cruisers first if you can. They're easier to kill. You want to remove the guns as quickly as possible. Once the Arkansas comes into play, though, we're going to try and whittle him down. I want to pick one of those and do a lot of damage to that, at least scare them off and make those ships separate, potentially. But note there, he was angled away. If you look on the map, he was about 45 degrees away from us. Rather than aiming at the waterline like we'd normally do, I aimed right at the top of the ship. I let him as far forward as I thought we needed to be. But those shells are hitting the deck. They're hitting lighter armored parts of that ship. If they're hitting waterline, they're hitting the most armored parts of the ship. And when the armor's angled like that, we're not going to get any damage whatsoever. So that's what we're talking about a lot, adjusting the aim point. If your targets are angled, you still want to stick with the AP here. You just want to adjust your aim point. Shoot up, try and hit that superstructure. The upper part of the ship has less armor. That's where you're going to get those damages. Gus popped up there briefly. We took him out. I think he probably saw us shooting the Arkansas and maybe thought, oh, his attention's turned elsewhere. Maybe I can stick out there and take a shot or two. But it's kind of a classic mistake that everyone makes. I make it all the time. It's just you're assuming that your opponent isn't going to make the right play. And then when they do, they surprise you and you're dead. So you always want to assume that they can do what they're going to do what they potentially could do. And in that case, coming out broadside to a battleship with artillery plotting room on it is going to end up with you sunk every time. So new player, it's a low tier game. We're not criticizing the player. I'm just pointing out the general idea there. But here we're going to make the decision to engage these three battleships. We still have the Wyoming to the south, and I'm considering at least cleaning up that flank, supporting that ship, killing him quickly, and then taking care of these guys. But those three battleships, especially two of them being Arkansas, which usually, at a minimum, you're serious enough about the game to put up a little money to buy a premium. So And at the high end, I mean, they could be professional seal clubbers for all we know that just hunt the noobs at tier 3 with their high end battleships. Those are possibilities. So we want to assume these guys are at least competent and potentially quite deadly. So I'm going to go over there, help these guys out. If they continue being positioned as they are, we're going to have access to the broadsides. We should get some juicy shots and at least make them or force them to respond to what we're doing to them. You see here, our destroyer trades himself for their battleship. Normally that's not a trade I'd advocate. I mean, it's situational dependent always, every play that you make in this game. Sometimes it's a good play, sometimes not. But in general, trading destroyers for battleships is not the greatest idea. There, though, I like it. It opens up the possibilities for us. That Wyoming was kind of pinning us down there. You know, if you look on the map, we're directly broadside to the south where he was. So whether or not he was paying attention to us to punish us for trying to move in here, probably not the most likely, but you got to be pretty careful. Once he's dead, we can move forward. And now we're taking a shot at these guys. You can see there we were checking one ship, angled. I checked the other one, more steeply angled, went back to the original target. You want to get, in general, whatever. If you got a flat ship and you got an angled ship, shoot the flat ship. Again, situationally dependent, but good rules of thumb nonetheless. Here we're going to take a little bit of a risk. I do want to complete a turn here. If this guy's got his guns towards me, which we did zoom in and check, didn't appear as though he did. Looks like he's engaging the battleship who's more immediately close to him. So that allows us to complete this turn. Keep an eye on that diagram on the bottom of the map there. We're going to be very steeply angled against these guys. We're going to be, if you look in the map, we're going to have nice juicy shots into their sides for a while here. And these are the positions you get by moving around as a battleship. If you're stationary in your base, especially if you're near all the other battleships on your team, you're never really going to find these juicy shots unless the enemy's making mistakes. Here, we're not really sitting back waiting for them to make mistakes. We're in control of this engagement, and we have no check to ourselves. Again, there is a destroyer, but as long as we keep an eye on them, and hopefully our team kills them, then we got nothing to worry about. Anyway, we continue to bomb on him. We get the Confederate, we got the high caliber, we got death strikes. We got everything going on here, lots of medals. And from here on out, once they kill this battleship, which I think they're about to, we'll be dueling these guys till the end of the game. You can see on the map there, our battleship, that's right by him, perfectly broadside. They're both angling in towards him. So 2v1 battleship fights, the pair is usually going to have a pretty good advantage. If they throw an angling into the mix and the 2v1's angling and the one's not, well, it's going to be a pretty quick fight. So we're trying to get some damage in while they're distracted because they are trying to get him killed as quickly as possible. Once they take him down, they're going to shift focus. They're either going to know there's a destroyer up there in the north and turn around to avoid him. Good battleship play. Battleships, if you can't see the destroyer especially, but you know where they are, usually sailing into them makes it a lot easier for them to torpedo. The torpedoes don't have to travel as far, and that gives you less time to randomly or intentionally change your course. Either one works to dodge torps, but the less time you have to change course or speed or anything like that, the more likely they are to hit you. So they're either turning away from him or they're coming down here to deal with me and angle towards me. Now, you can see on the diagram there on the bottom of the game, the ship diagram, pretty steeply angled, a little lackadaisical. We're going to take a decent shot there from the front. Arkansas, the back Arkansas hits us pretty dang hard. And you'll keep an eye on the diagram from the rest of the battle here, and we're going to be much tighter on that. We're going to sacrifice that second gun to start with. That's the least accessible gun here, so we tighten up that angle. We point more towards our enemy. That's going to make it much harder for them to deal damage. This guy's opening up his ship. He's trying to get those back guns firing. Because of that, we get the front gun back involved there. I was just planning on firing the rear guns, but because he flashed that much broadside, we wanted to punish us. We won that trade there. Hoping my team finishes them off. This is a mistake I make a lot. I let my teammates take those kills because I don't like wasting full battleship cells on taking the kills, but when they get away, they can absolutely ruin the game. So get rid of those guns. Get rid of the dangerous guns especially, and just get rid of them. So yes, we would have only gotten a little bit more damage. Yes, this guy's broadside, he's an opportune target, but that Arkansas is going to get more shots off. Luckily, he's taking them at me, and we're still being really well angled. So he only got 1,000 damage off there, but he could have killed the other cruisers, could have potentially got the destroyer, could have been catastrophic, could have been throw territory. So you got to remove the guns. Hopefully your team will do it for you, but if they don't, you just got to suck it up and take care of them yourself. Anyways, now we're just firing the back guns as you see there in the diagram. Maintaining, we're going to send out this salvo here. We get 7.5k. They send them our way. We're taking 1 or 2k in return. So those are the trades that you need to be winning. 3k there, 3.5, whatever it is. If we're sending out more damage to them, even if we're intentionally cutting down our own offensive output by taking those turrets out of the fight, we're preserving our health. We're getting more partial salvos off than we would if we just died by giving one good full salvo. So that's Battleship 101. That is the key to Battleship play, but the tendency that you're probably born with, at least I was to get as much damage out there as quickly as possible. And when you do that, you take more damage in return, you go down, then all of a sudden the spigot is turned off. You're not dealing any more damage. But if you can kind of focus on what you're doing, maintain the health, then you get more damage overall. Anyway, those guys finally got behind the island. Destroyers outside of our blue ring. That gave us time to turn around. We've previously been backing up. They've been working up pretty well. But we're getting close to those islands, and we're running out of real estate. These guys, looks like they're playing pretty well. They're kind of trying to avoid me. Ideally, what they want to do is one-shot all the cruisers that come into view. If they can find the destroyer, kill him. Take those engagements 2v1 at a time, and then they could have 2 battleships versus me. All of us low health, they can certainly win that one. Luckily, our cruiser gets him with the torps. The destroyer down south goes down. We get this guy with a wicked shot there, and our secondaries are going to go ahead and finish him off. So if you play like that with a focus on that angling, it's just how you play Battleship. It's just putting it into practice. Something everyone needs to work on, myself included. Anyway, that's a look at the Arkansas for you. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see you all later. Peace.